Welcome to the Crypto Sphere. This is Cryptogenic coming at you. Today is Monday, September 19th at 6:06 a.m. here in Northern California. I know it's been a minute, folks. I apologize for the minute that it has been. I've been working on something very, very important that I will release to you later in this video. But first, we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin chart. We're going to compare the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Theta charts to ask the question, which is the better buy right now? Which is the better buy right now? We're going to look at it both from micro and macro perspectives. And of course, we're going to start with the macro. So starting with this Bitcoin chart on the weekly, what we can see is I identified these two trends, this trend within a trend. Last time I was making videos a couple of weeks ago. Oh, Lord Jesus, have mercy on my soul. And I identified this bottom trend line here and said, we might hold this or we might capitulate down to these levels of support. Now that we have closed beneath that line, I anticipate that we could very well come down and test these levels of support before we break back within that trend. So breaking beneath this line could mean one of two things. First thing it could mean is that we're looking at an extended bear market. And we could be beneath this line for quite some time. However, what gives me hope is this sub-trend within it. This sub-trend, if we take a look at it, once we break bullish above this sub-trend, that should take us up about 140%. Now, let's say we break bullish, let's say right over here. I know this is arbitrary, but if we break bullish right over here, that will take us up to about $56,000. All right. If we break bullish sooner, it'll take us higher. If we break sooner, we break later, it'll take us lower. But what it'll do is it'll put us back in this trajectory of this trend right here. Secondly, it would give us a secondary target. Let's say we break bullish here, a secondary target of 180%, which takes us up to 65,000. So depending on where we break bullish, breaking bullish above this sub-trend that we see with, it's a macro trend, it's just not the macro trend. We could come to the point where we're actually retesting our previous all-time high. Okay, so this could be good for the market. This could be good for the crypto market. One thing that is actually very hopeful in this whole trajectory is that the RSI has bottomed out. So you notice we've got bullish divergence in the RSI, and bullish divergence in the RSI on the weekly chart is very encouraging. So from this low to this low, from this low here to this low here is flat, but we've got a clearly higher low in the RSI. And so the RSI already began to move up. And if we come down to touch one of these lines, we'll have a clearly lower low in the price, but a clearly higher low in the RSI. And as long as we do that, that's great. Now, however, the RSI could come and touch down at the bottom of this line again before we get an actual breakout. We shall see. Or it could just mosey on over here. But I do think we could get one more final flush before the end of this month, perhaps, of the crypto market that would take Bitcoin down to touch one of these, maybe the bottom line of support here, or even coming down to touch the bottom of this trend. Well, if it's this month, then it would correspond with one of these two lines. So I do think that's possible. And the reason why I think that's possible, as I said before, what the market lacks right now is an overall sense of confidence. And the reason why there's not huge confidence in the market about us having bottomed out is because when we hit this bottom here, there was no real money waiting at the bottom for it. There should have been a big green volume bar that followed this big red volume bar. and we just haven't seen it. We haven't seen the money, and so I've been anticipating us coming back down to revisit this area or break beneath it, because why would the big money, want to come in 15, 20, 30% above the bottom? Why wouldn't the big money want to buy it at the bottom? It just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, of course, it doesn't have to make sense, but that just, for all intents and purposes, it just feels to me like we need another flush, at least down to the $16,500 realm, and then get a strong bounce. But if we don't break back up within this, so this trend line, here's the thing. Getting back above this trend line and resuming this trend is what's necessary for us to see an all-time high, another all-time high for Bitcoin. We have broken beneath this before. We broke down beneath it here and closed beneath it, but the very next week we broke back above it. So this is, if we stayed down beneath this line for more than a couple weeks, we could surmise that this trend is broken, and but this second trend is not broken. Now, if we close beneath this line, that's another story. I mean, if Bitcoin breaks down beneath this bottom line and both trends are broken, that could be bad for the crypto market for quite some time. We would have to reestablish a whole new trend to get a feel for where we're going and how long it's going to take us to get there. That would be bad. However, the RSI, having already hit bottom, I mean, there's not too much lower the RSI can go on the weekly chart. The RSI was already severely oversold. And I mean, I just don't see it. I mean, if the RSI were to break bearish beneath this trend here, where would it go? There's not really much of a trend that the RSI could make beneath this trend here. At some point, the RSI would just have to recover. It's just oversold. And so, what the RSI is telling me is that we don't have much further down that we can go before this thing has to recover. So I fully anticipate that we will remain within this trend. Worst case scenario is we wick beneath it and then recover. But I have full confidence that we're going to remain within this trend and eventually break bullish above it, and the bull run will continue. Now, looking at Bitcoin on the daily chart, we've broken bearish beneath this line of support here, beneath this trend. But we have clear bullish divergence in the RSI. So look, from this low to this low is the lower low. But from this corresponding low to this corresponding low is a higher low. We're making higher lows in the price, lower lows in the price, higher lows in the RSI. That's classic bullish divergence, which causes me to anticipate that we're going to see a bounce. And I mean, at the very least, on the micro level, that bounce should cause the RSI to reach back for the top of this line. And if the RSI is reaching back for the top of this line, then the price should make a run for this line here. Okay, now, how soon will that happen? Well, in a matter of days. I mean, I don't know how many days, but in a matter of days, not weeks, we should see Bitcoin recover and get a little bit of bullish action before we see a major drop. Now, we all know what's happened with Ethereum. The merge is complete, and for all intents and purposes, there are various opinions about the effectiveness of the merge. Honestly, I don't know a whole lot. I don't know a whole lot about that. I just look at the charts, and what the chart has told me here is that we're still in this bearish trend here on the macro. I mean, this is a clearly bearish trend, and this is a weekly chart. And so, until we break above this line, I don't care if the merge was 100% successful. I don't have any bullish news for us about Ethereum yet. Once again, I just look at the chart. I don't look at the fundamentals. Now, what I can say is that if we break bullish above this line, and I anticipate at some point we will, let's say we broke bullish above this line here. This is very arbitrary. Then I could say, all right, we're going to take a run at this previous high over here. and I would set a target over here for $3,500. But until we break above that trend, I don't have any bullish projections for you. However, what I can say is that we have support at the 200-week moving average, and that is hopeful, okay? That we have support at the 200-week moving average, and we're making somewhat of a wedge here. If we maintain support at the 200-week moving average, we could bounce around in this wedge, and this is a falling wedge, so we could very easily break out bullish out of this falling wedge. However, if we get another flush in the market, or if something doesn't go right with the merge, or if it doesn't have the effect that people think it is, there's also questions about liquidity and not liquidity, but supply. That the supply is increasing, or honestly, I don't understand how all of that works. But what I can say is that if we break down beneath and we close beneath the 200-week moving average, that could, in fact, take us all the way down to the bottom of this trend here, which means we could see Ethereum flush. I'm just watching it. But for now, we've got support at the 200-week moving average. Taking a look at Ethereum on the daily chart, what we see is we've broken down beneath this major level of support, and that could take us. The first level support is 1233, and yeah, maybe we find support there and we hang out there and we bounce from there, or maybe we come all the way down to 1038. That's the second level of support on the daily, and unfortunately, I'm not seeing the bullish divergence in the RSI that I'm seeing on the Bitcoin chart. Sorry guys, I'm just not seeing it. Let's take a look at the weekly chart to see if it's there. I'm not seeing it. I guess there's some slight bullish divergence here because we've got a lower low there, slightly, and then we're flat, maybe slightly higher low here. So yeah, there's slight bullish divergence on the weekly chart, but that bullish divergence is so slight, it might be enough to give us another run at the top of this trend line. But this does not spell any major breakout for Ethereum. So if we notice the difference between the weekly chart of Bitcoin and the weekly chart of Ethereum is that the top of this line for Bitcoin, or even the top of this line, well, if we look at this downward trend that we're in, if Bitcoin were to bounce and get a breakout, it could do a lot better than Ethereum. So let's say Bitcoin broke out from here and touched the top of this line within the next couple weeks. That'd be about a 50% pop. But for Ethereum, the best I see for it with the pop and remaining within its trend is about a 20% pop, 25% pop, unless it breaks above the trend, which it could do. But Bitcoin could also break above its trend too. So I see half the potential in Ethereum that I see in Bitcoin at the moment. Okay, at the moment. Now I want to take a look at Theta token. All right, so if we take a look at this weekly Theta token chart, yeah, I saw this rounded bottom and I thought it could be a cup and could be the beginning of a cup and handle. It's not, because the handle shouldn't go more than 50% beneath the cup. And it looks like it's kind of repeating that cup pattern again. We could have a double bottom here is really what we're looking at, okay? But this is the thing that I'm excited about. Like, all right, if you go back to Bitcoin, the macro chart, and you ask the question, if we get another run and we take a run at the previous all-time high, how high does that take us? That takes us up 268%. Okay, now let's look at the Ethereum chart and ask the same question. When we take a look at the Ethereum chart, let's see, is this it? Yep. If we get another run and it takes us all the way up to the previous all-time high, it's 266%. Okay, so Bitcoin is 268% to the top, Ethereum 266%. So pretty much the same, right? Now let's take a look at Theta token. If we get another run and we're heading back to the previous all-time high, how high does that take us? 1,487%. So which is the better buy? You tell me. This is not financial advice. I'm not telling you what to buy or what not to buy. I'm simply saying there's far more upward bandwidth in Theta token than there is in Ethereum and Bitcoin right now at this moment. That's what I'm seeing. Taking a look at Theta on the daily chart, what we see is that we had this subtrend here that we broke bearish beneath, and that break could take us all the way down to 88 cents. However, we've got support here right now. The support is at about $1, 101. So as long as we maintain support at this line, we're fine. But look at the bullish divergence in the RSI. We hit bottom here on August 28th, and we've been moving upward ever since. Even though simultaneously the price has been moving down, the RSI has been moving up nicely. So what the RSI is telegraphing for us is that we've got a nice bullish move to come for Theta token. First line of support is going to be at the top of this channel really here at about $1.20. Then we'll hit some resistance here again at about $1.35, $1.40. But if we can break above both of those lines of resistance, we should be heading towards the top of this trend up here, towards $2 once the breakout actually transpires, which means that you could see, I mean, just within the micro trend, you could see, you could double your money in Theta token in the next month or two once we see a real breakout. And especially if we break down here to 88 cents and then take a run at the top of this line, what is that, like 240, 230%? You know, that could be really nice. I'm sorry, 130%, 125% to the top of that line. That'd be really nice. That's more than doubling your money. So my money would be on Theta token, just compared to Ethereum and Bitcoin. What I want to talk about this week, I think I'll make a video on this tomorrow, is investing in crypto versus investing in real estate. We got to begin to think. We got to begin to think about this in a better way. And you know, real estate investing is so popular right now. How does it compare to investing in crypto? Where is the better money to be made? So I'm going to talk about that in my video tomorrow. But until then, remember to sleep in peace, wake in joy, walk in love. And if you enjoyed this content, hit that like button. And if you have not subscribed, do that for me. Drop me a line to let me know what you think. But until then, make it your aim to sleep in peace every night, wake in joy every morning, and walk in love every day. This is Crypto Jen, signing